Hi, I'm Kathy Rose, and I'm going to talk to you about the astrological patterns for March 2024. We begin looking at the Pisces mandala, and normally for most of March, we have this Piscean, gentle, flowing, emotional, compassionate energy pattern. But this March, it's going to be slightly different. It's colored with another flavor. So let me explain. The theme for March of 2024 is certainly going to be acceleration because all the planets are in direct motion. In April, we're going to have Mercury entering a retrograde, but that will still be the only planet retrograde. So we have this wave of fast moving energy trying to nudge humanity forward. But the other theme is faith, flow, and freedom. Faith and flow are really connecting with Pisces energy, but the freedom energy is connected with this powerful Uranus signature that's going to be flowing in the background, sending out sparks everywhere. So I'm going to talk about that in a moment. And this Uranus energy is high voltage and it is eruptive. So the graphic that's on screen really represents the background energy that we're all going to be receiving. So let's take a look here. On March 9th, the biggest aspect of the month is the fact that we are going to have Mars squaring Uranus at 19 degrees. Mars is 19 degrees Aquarius, Uranus is 19 Taurus. So absolutely, if you have planets or angles in your chart in fixed signs right around 19 degrees, that could be a few degrees before that and a few degrees after, you're going to be really feeling this. Because Mars working with Uranus is a big push forward. It is powerful, active warrior energy. And this is setting up the big acceleration and the expansion, the quantum leap that wants to happen in April. April is probably the biggest month of 2024 because we're going to be having Jupiter conjunct Uranus at 21 degrees Taurus. And again, so if you have planets in the fixed signs, and the fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, and if you have them somewhere in the 20s, you're going to be receiving this special awakening, this special movement forward. But even if you don't have planets in those zones, we're all feeling it. And it is high voltage. You see the graphic on screen as someone who's reaching out to touch the electricity, the crackling, sparking energy that's in the air. So number one, we have to be mindful how we manage our own energy and our own nervous system. The positive development of this for us all personally is that there is a restless wave for expansion and growth. There is a desire to get out of stagnation or stale energy and to get out of our comfort zones. Isn't that wonderful? Mars working with Uranus keys a special adventure energy, a courageous adventure energy, pioneering out into a new frontier or getting special downloads of information. But more than anything else, please, please remember for March and April, not only related to March and April, but specifically in this case, be present in the now. Ground your energy down into the earth and let all of your atoms be in this moment so that you can pick up all the special signals that are going to come in from this very sudden Uranus energy. Now, there is a level of disruptive energy that flows behind it. So let me show you some special dates. And when you look at this on screen, you're going to see it's the entire month. But I wanted to illustrate when we have a month where the Mars energy is working with Uranus, where it is activating a higher level of the awakening that needs to take place, of the shakeup that needs to take place. Anytime we have a moon, the transiting moon in a fixed sign contacting Uranus, we're going to be feeling the palpable trigger energy. So you're going to see it lasts all month. March 1st, the moon's in Scorpio, will oppose Uranus that day. And, you know, when I offer these dates, I'm not saying latch onto this date and be afraid. Hopefully, you know me well enough. I would never, ever do that. But understand every time we have the moon in contact with Uranus, it is working to trigger and activate what this Mars square Uranus cycle, and then in April, Jupiter conjunct Uranus, what it's trying to bring about. It's trying to bring about movement forward, freedom, awakening, a quantum leap in consciousness. On March 3rd, we're going to have Venus squaring Uranus, and that's interesting because that is a very special social pattern. It is a social impact on wanting to have our relationships with each other, our ability to talk to each other, our ability to embrace change. We want that to move forward. Then on March 8th, we have Moon in Aquarius squaring Uranus. And then March 9th, the aspect I talked about, Mars square Uranus. So you see for the first 9 days, it's a lot of activation. And then it continues. March 14th, the moon is in Taurus, which will be conjunct Uranus. March 21st, moon in Leo, square Uranus. And then March 28th, moon in Scorpio, opposite Uranus again. These are normal cycles where the moon triggers planets as it goes through the different signs, but this one is really special. So again, I want to say the entire month, there is this jazzy, sparky electrical energy in the air. Use it to move forward. Embrace adventure right now. Embrace awakening. Take chances. Be courageous. And understand that we're going to be seeing some strong activation in the world, specifically when Mars is square Uranus on the 9th, not just the 9th, but the entire month, really. That increases seismic activity potential. It increases anything having to do with electricity, whether that is power outages, whether cyber attacks, anything having to do with disruption. So I don't say this to create fear. I say this so that if you are in the present moment, if you can still your mind, if you can breathe and ground yourself and be present, you're going to get the signals to be in the right place at the right time every single time. And so there's nothing to be concerned about. So this advances right after the Mars square Uranus transit. We have a new moon in Pisces, and this is very, very different energy. So March 10th, 5 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, we have the new moon in Pisces. Before I get to the chart, let me just offer you an image to imprint in your mind the energy flow from this new moon. This is a painting I did many years ago, illustrating flow. And you'll see on the book that is on the bottom of the painting, it says the trick is to surrender to the flow. And if you are a Fish fan, like I am, Fish is a jam band. That is a line from one of the lyrics in their songs called The Lizards. And it says, from the Helping Friendly book. You'll know what that means if you like fish. But if you don't, just understand the reason I did this painting is because I know part of my life purpose is to learn how to surrender and open to the flow and release the urge to control or to plan or to be attached to outcomes. So this new moon in Pisces really illustrates that. And, you know, if I talk about this painting, it's a woman standing under a divine waterfall, receiving it and letting it flow through her with her arms thrown wide open. So this is certainly part of the message from this new moon in Pisces. Now let's take a look at the chart. You see the big red lines annotated here is still illustrating Mars square Uranus. And this chart is set for Washington, D.C. If you remember, when I talked about the new moon in Aquarius last month, and I showed the chart, and it had for Washington, D.C., Uranus conjunct the midheaven, And there was some disruption last month. There was absolutely some disruption. Now we are going to see for the new moon in Pisces, Uranus is conjunct the fourth house cusp. When we look at this in terms of our nation or any nation, any country, and we set these lunations, this is a temporary energy pattern when we find planets on angles that says there will be activity in that country. Something will come in. And in this case with Uranus, it's slightly disruptive. And we're in the middle of a presidential race here in the US. So this is not a stable energy at all. In addition, though, beyond that, we have the 4 planets in Pisces for this lunation: Saturn, Moon, Sun, Neptune. And we have Mercury at the Aries point, which is 0 cardinal. In this case, it's 0 Aries. When we have a planet at the Aries point during a lunation, it is usually suggesting something wants to be revealed. Some information wants to come into public view. So be watching for an announcement, be watching for important information in some way. Of course, we have information being released every day in this 24-hour news cycle, but this is a significant new moon. And if you look at the graphic that's on screen, this is a painting my friend Liza did. I helped a little bit with this painting, but I love it because it depicts a nature spirit, the spirit within the tree, blended with the tree. And so the reason I posted this is because during this new moon in Pisces, blend with nature. Let nature infuse you with life force and feel yourself grounded and nourished and comforted. And all of that energy in Pisces wants to help to open up your intuition, your connection with the nature kingdom, which is a different kingdom than the human kingdom. The fairies, the angels, the devas, the nature spirits, that's a special intelligence. And so you can use that to heal and balance and receive higher levels of intuition. Certainly watch your dreams and practice flow, practice fun. One of the things about Mars-Uranus squaring is that you can get into the delight of playful, adventurous fun, releasing your need to control and surrendering to the flow. So this is an important new moon. Now, when we're done with this new moon, we march on in March to the 19th, and we have the Aries equinox, and that's going to happen at 11:07 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And the reason I'm showing you the chart, one of the things we do as astrologers is we forecast world events or national events. This is called mundane astrology, by looking at these charts during equinoxes or solstices, key moments. And in this case, this is set for Washington, D.C. again, looking at the United States view. And we see Mars conjunct the fourth house cusp on an angle. We see Uranus and Jupiter close to an angle. So again, this is significant for a lot of activity happening in the United States. And since we are in a presidential year and sparks are flying, I mean, that's highly polarized. I never get into political opinion. It's highly polarized, and activity is flowing through the air. And, we can grow weary of it after a while, but there's a lot that's going to be happening around that Aries equinox that is really fascinating. So pay attention. And when we have in the northern hemisphere, this is the beginning of spring. In the southern hemisphere, it's the beginning of fall. We get this special opportunity to appreciate the new season that is beginning and to key into that cardinal energy that Aries brings us, which is high growth, high activity, high movement. All right, then after that, we have a lunar eclipse in Libra happening on March 25th. This isn't a super powerful eclipse, not as powerful as the one coming up in April, on April 8th. That one's a total eclipse in April. This one is not, but it is significant because we're going to have 4 planets in Pisces. It's very interesting energy pattern. In that the moon in Libra is yearning for harmony and peace and cooperation. The eclipse in Libra wants to develop more harmonious relationship energy. And we could really use that right now, wherever you are in the world. This is the moon that is saying, hey, let's sit down and have a conversation and really listen to each other. Let's try to come to an agreement. Let's step into each other's shoes so we can understand each other's perspective. Let's have compassion in our communication, in our conversations. Well, I don't see that happening that much with all the social issues that are circulating throughout the world right now. We have a lot of intensity in this time frame when we are changing phases, when we are in such a high growth rate. So this lunar eclipse in Libra, it's a moment to polish the part of you that might be able to actually listen with compassion to someone else. It's beautiful. Key into the harmony that's available. So my final thoughts for March. The image on screen is a spiral mandala that I made many years ago. I went through a spiral phase. And I really enjoyed making these spirals, putting each bead individually on. It was a deep meditation, like walking through a labyrinth. And in the center of the spiral is the symbol for Om. And the colors, this is what I loved about this spiral, the emerald greens and the blues, activating pronounced growth. It's like what happens in the Northern Hemisphere when we have the beginning of spring, and all of a sudden the trees wake up and have this enormous growth surge as leaves bud, and then they grow so fast, and they are that beautiful emerald green color. In the fall, in the Southern Hemisphere, when we have the Aries ingress, then it's this rapid change with the leaves on the trees as they begin to go into their shedding period, releasing their leaves. So my final thoughts would be for you to key into the frequency that is in the background of everything going on right now, which is we as humans are growing and developing and understanding higher dimensional laws more and more and more. Bring them into your reality. Be a role model for understanding that your attitude shapes the experience in your reality, and that you are in charge of your attitude. You are in charge what you are energizing on a daily basis with your words and your thoughts and your beliefs. You are in charge of the foundational beliefs that you energize every single day. Jump into this amazing period we are in, where humanity is waking up and going through a consciousness shift. And we just happen to be in the in-between time that is slightly disruptive and is not that stable, but you can certainly stabilize your own energy pattern. So as we go through this very powerful month of March, remember to breathe. I always say this, I know, but remember to cleanse your energy field, cleanse your aura. Learn how to do it. If you don't know how, you can watch the YouTube video I have on my YouTube channel for cleansing your aura. You can watch my Maverick podcast in one of the episodes where I did not have a guest and I was simply speaking. I talk about many, many ways you can cleanse your aura and how to understand that. Take charge and do it. Keep your energy pattern consolidated and cleansed and sealed so that you are in charge of how you feel and you are not victimized by the outside energies. And then buckle up, because March, everything accelerates and there could be some very interesting development. All right. As always, I'm sending you much love, many blessings, and a whole lot of growth and happiness for us all. Bye for now, and I look forward to seeing you at a future video.